First we had hardware, and then we had software, and now we have dataware. So what does that actually mean? Well, let's go back to when software was originally invented, back in, I think it was the late 30s when the first computer program was ever run. If you think about that, that would have been mind-bending to see that a machine can have its behavior altered without physically altering the machine. You're providing these instructions in the form of a program that alter the behavior of that machine. Now, of course, the machine itself needs to be designed to understand these instructions. So the real impact of software was it changed how we build machines. Pre-software, you build a machine for that. Post-software, you have a machine and then you build an app for that. And a machine can have many apps. It's kind of like they're virtual machines through essentially the introduction of programming. Uh, that continues to change the world even today. Well, Dataware is very similar in that it has that big of an impact. The origins go back to the 80s, but back then it was like talking about science fiction, like let's have a conversation about teleportation or buying a food replicator. It sounds neat, but there's no way it's actually possible. And that's changed. It went from, theoretical to practical, and it's now becoming even simple. And well, what is it actually doing? Well, in the same way that software disrupted hardware, dataware disrupts software. Because today, every software, whether you build it or whether you buy it, whoever's ultimately building it is building a data platform. Every software needs to store data, access data, share data, integrate data, present data, protect it, track changes to it, ensure privacy protection. It's very, very complicated. Imagine if every electronic device needed to generate its own electricity, how complicated the world would be. Your phone would no longer fit in your pocket if it needs its own power plant. That's the impact. And what this means is that software in the post-dataware age will be dramatically simplified because it won't have to deal with all that complexity. It can essentially implement an end user experience. It can implement business rules, but it doesn't have to deal with all this complexity. It can delegate that to the dataware in the same way that your electronic device can delegate the power management to the power grid that is, this behind the scenes. There's this network of different power plants. Nuclear versus solar versus hydro versus geothermal. It's very complicated, but not to the electronic devices perspective. It's just electricity, and that's really what Dataware does. Now that's for new applications, but there is also applicability even to legacy applications because of the approach that we've taken to facilitate sharing of data across these applications. There is a huge opportunity to take away a lot of that pain and friction and that loss of control that comes with copy-based approach to sharing data as we move towards collaboration.